All right, let's talk about Joe Burrow, Joe Cool, whatever you want to call him. He's maybe earned his nicknames back after this game, although it wasn't perfect. There still were some issues. There still are some things that Cincinnati has to work on, but in a game that they really kind of had to win, got a little scary there in sort of towards the end of the second quarter, but they were able to, really kind of show that they are, in fact, the Bengals. They looked like the Bengals again at times in this game, although still maybe not the most dominant performance we're used to seeing. Start off with a play like this. Going to show a lot of Jamar Chase in this game, obviously. He had a huge day. This one-on-one matchup going kind of towards the back of the end zone on a third down and goal. It's man coverage for Arizona. Watch how Joe Burrow's going to take the snap. He actually looks towards his right at first. You see that Jamar Chase isn't really open, but what Burrow is doing is what Burrow really, kind of does when he's at his best, is he's able to get outside the pocket, right? He's able to make something happen. There was kind of pressure up the middle from an edge rusher right away, but he's able to kind of navigate it, and he's going to show off his field vision here, because I don't know how many people would look towards Chase here, but Chase runs up towards the corner of the end zone. Burrow notices it, throws an absolute strike, and they get a touchdown there. I think especially early on in the Joe Burrow, Zach Taylor marriage. I think Zach Taylor's grown a lot as a play caller, but early on, really a lot of it, I thought what was happening was Zach Taylor would make plays that wouldn't work. Joe Burrow would look up, see it doesn't work, but then find a way to make something happen. Well, we're starting to see that happen again, that aspect happen, which is super important. There are still some issues, like I talked about. Something like this, still a little bit clunky. It's zone coverage. Chase is running over the middle, because again, of course, it's Jamar Chase. Joe Burrow is going to take the snap. He's going to look up, and there's a window here. There just is. This is the window that you expect Cincinnati to hit. You expect Cincinnati to make these plays. This is what, when things are working well, they're consistently hitting on. And again, the situation, Cincinnati jumped up to that 10-0 lead. They let Arizona score 14 unanswered. Again, kind of later on, they would jump back. But for now, they're slumping a little bit. Burrow's throw, it's almost like him and Chase weren't really on the same page. I think, Burrow thought Chase was going to sit down a little bit. Chase kept going, and it resulted in that incompletion there. So there still are some of these issues that they have to work on. There just is. And again, we trust Cincinnati to work on these issues, but I just don't think it's fully as simple as, well, once Joe Burrow gets healthy, every problem is fixed for Cincinnati. I think a lot of the problems are fixed for Cincinnati, but there still are going to be some issues. However, going over here, you can deal with the occasional mishap here and there if you're making these kind of plays. So again, they were down 4. They get a pick 6 to go up 3, and then to start the third quarter, this was the play that kind of, if they can just hit a play like this or two a game, it's really going to completely change how we view Cincinnati. It's a zone coverage play, and the way this works is you have, two receivers that are lined up on the outside, one on either side of the field. Chase, the guy who's I've circled in white, his main job is usually just to push the safety deep. Like, that's usually how this works. You push the safety deep, hopefully the more over the middle route, the other receiver, that's the one that gets open, but not always. Burrow's going to take the snap, and he notices that the safety doesn't do a great job at covering Chase, so hey, go for more yards if possible. This is hard. This is a hard throw because, well, sure, there is separation. There's separation so far down the field. He's going to have to get the ball to around the, 13-ish yard line, and he's throwing it at his own 27. So we're talking about, he's got to get about 60 yards down the field and also a little bit over. It's a bit of an angle as well. This is a really difficult throw, and for a guy who's banged up, right when I'm watching this live, I'm like, I don't know if he has the arm strength to get it there. However, he absolutely does, throws an absolute strike, and this is, once they start hitting on these, everything changes, in my opinion. It really does, because I've been watching, every Bengals game. I've been making a lot of film studies, and you consistently see teams not really fearing Jamar Chase the way you expect teams to. They're playing Jamar Chase one-on-one on the outside. They're trusting a great corner to beat Jamar Chase, which, Chase's rookie year, teams tried that and immediately realized, oh, we can't do that. He's going to beat our number one corner. And then sort of year 2, teams stopped doing that. Now teams are doing it a bit again, and so you have to be able to make them pay, because if you can make them pay, then teams are going to start playing cover 2 again, and then that opens up your entire playbook. Again, there were still some mishaps. There were still some things that didn't go totally well. Zone coverage, Chase running a quick route, trying to get into a gap in coverage. This is, okay, cool. This can work. Watch as Burrow takes the snap, looks up towards Chase. There's a window for sure for Burrow to make this throw. There just is. There's a window. You want to see him hit it. Burrow kind of tries to throw it away from the linebacker over the middle for Arizona, but still, I don't know. And maybe there was a communication thing there. Maybe he thought Chase was going to run that route a little bit flatter. That's totally possible. I think Burrow just missed that throw a little bit. And maybe there still is some injury concern. I saw an article where Burrow basically said he's trying to completely rework how he's throwing the football right now, which that's difficult to do. That's, you're used to throwing the ball in one specific way, really hard to make something happen. But a play like this is what gets me the most optimistic about Joe Burrow and about Cincinnati. The other plays were fun. The other plays worked. This is the play that is the reason why you should be excited if you're a Cincinnati fan. Joe Burrow takes a snap. It doesn't matter which receiver he's looking at because none of them are open. Well, okay, that's not exactly true. The couple of checkdowns are kind of open, but not even them, not really. I'm not sure if you're getting more than a couple of yards on that play. You could try it, but, you don't want to. Down the field, again, you could take a chance, throw up a jump ball, but nothing is open. Nothing that you feel good about. And also, pressure is now coming. So for Joe Burrow, again, definitely someone who I think is really good at running an offense, doing the traditional stuff, hitting the open guy, all of that. But I do think that part of Burrow's talent and part of what makes Burrow special, and I think most people would still say is the number 2 best quarterback in football behind Mahomes, part of that is because of what he's going to do on this play, which is make something happen. As you see, he is going to be able to find a way to scramble up. He's going to pick up a first down and protects himself, slides after getting to first down. All of that stuff is just really good from Joe Burrow and from these Cincinnati Bengals. And so being able to do that kind of thing, that's really important. And I think that without them having that ability, things have really struggled. And it kind of almost is a reminder for me a little bit of because I have been saying throughout the first few weeks, Joe Burrow's injury is becoming a bit of a scapegoat, which I still believe is true. I think people have made it all on that. There were some other issues here for Cincinnati, T. Higgins also not being healthy apparently was a real thing. But I also think that part of it was I was kind of talking about how, well, these traditional plays aren't working, but they, typically do. They're normal plays. They're just not hitting as consistently. And while that was true, I think what the injury maybe hurt more was less about the being able to, hit a crossing route over the middle against zone coverage or being able to, throw a go route right off the line of scrimmage, and maybe more about the when plays break down, Joe Burrow not having another option. But now we're starting to see that option again, and if he can do that, well, then it's definitely the Bengals could potentially be the Cincinnati Bengals again. Now, it's one of the biggest issues I think for Cincinnati is just the hole that they've dug themselves at this point. Their next 3 weeks: Seattle, San Francisco, and Buffalo. That's a tough 3-game stretch, and even if they come out of there 2-1, which you would feel pretty good about, you're still now in a situation where you're 5-5 in a tough division in a tough conference. So losing a couple of those games early on, they stick with you. They do. I think that Titans loss is going to really hurt them. Obviously the Browns one, it was kind of one of those games that got away. The Ravens was still a game that they had a chance to win. They're going to have to eventually start to win these games, but at least they're moving in the right direction. And again, when they're at their best, they can beat just about anybody, so we'll see what they do. But yeah, those are my thoughts. What are yours? Let me know in the comments below. Always love hearing from you. And of course, as always, thanks for watching.